Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, your Movie Apprentice, and today I am looking at 2021's Tom and Jerry, directed by Tim Story and starring Chloe Grace Moretz, Rob Delaney and Micheal Pena. This film follows a lead protagonist played by Moretz who has to scam away to get a job in a hotel, and she is tasked with getting rid of a mouse problem, that being Jerry, and she decides to bring in some outside help in the form of Tom the cat, and as you can imagine in classic Tom and Jerry style, shenanigans do ensue. So for starters, I have to say that this film is a lot of fun. If you came here for Tom and Jerry slapstick and you are worried that they were going to tone down some of the violence that takes place between Tom and Jerry within this world, rest assured they do not. They go all out with some of the classic moments, such as the lump on the head, the iron to the face, the mouse hole being shifted round, the classic passive-aggressive nudges they would give each other before the angry faces would come out and they would start beating the hell out of each other. Tom and Jerry in this are just great to see. They don't do what the old film did and have them talk. They quite simply have them do their old thing, and they blend very well in this setting. I was worried with the fact that they are blending cartoon with live action, but they blend just as seamlessly as Roger Rabbit did way back in the day. They fit the scene beautifully, and I have to say that the actors involved in this definitely seemed like they were having fun, especially Chloe Grace Moretz. When she's having these exchanges with Tom, it was a great thing to see. She looked like she was having the time of her life here, and Micheal Pena as well was very cartoony in his performance, but in this world of a cartoon and real life crossover, cartoon performances is what we want. Because I tell you, the human characters are all awful, you're not going to care about them. Ken Jeong's in this for some reason as this crazy cook that acts like he's an artiste. I feel like they very much underutilized Ken Jeong a little bit within this. He didn't really have to be in this movie too much. The exchanges between Moretz and Pena were brilliant to watch, but the character motivations and the story behind it, you're not really gonna care about. The whole plot is this wedding is taking place at the hotel, and that's why they're trying to get rid of the mouse, and it just doesn't really work in terms of making you care about them. The couple that are getting married are very one note and very basic, as are many of the other characters in this. Even Moretz's character goes through a thing and tries to give us a message of let people show you what they can do, don't rely too much on their resume. These characters you're not gonna like, and there is some very lowbrow comedy in this as well. If you want the fart humour and the crap humour, you're gonna get that humour. If you're just going for the Tom and Jerry slapstick, I would say you get all that within the first 40 minutes. Like, that is probably the best part of the film for me, is that opening 40 to 50 minutes where I am laughing my arse off constantly at the slapstick between these characters. Once we get to the more serious plot elements towards the latter half of the film, that's where it just sort of becomes a bit of a meandering mess for myself. Wasn't a bad movie for me by any means. It did what I wanted. I wanted to see Tom and Jerry have a fight like they usually do. It's just unfortunate that they had to give us all these human characters in there as well. But they at least very seamlessly blend in with the setting around them, which I can imagine was a mammoth task for the people involved in making this. Every setting in this is very brightly lit, which I think is to really help blend these cartoon characters with the real world. There is a lot of jokes in this that don't land from the people side of things. There's a lot of publicity jokes. For example, I think one of the jokes was, we can't hire Tom because he's a cat, but if we refuse him because he's a cat, we'll have Peter coming down our throats about inequality, so let's put him in a hat, I think is how that conversation goes to get Tom into the hotel. I can see what they were trying to do with it, but it's a very flat bit of comedy. There's another character in this that works behind the bar that I just feel like is quite needless. Like, is there a romance plot there? I can't really tell. They were a nothing character. There's another character that feels like they should be doing more in this, but they do very little in the end game as well. There's a few too many bodies in this film. I believe you could have done this film perfectly with just Tom and Jerry, the couple, the manager, and Micheal Pena and Chloe Grace Moretz's character. the extra 4 or 5 side characters this movie gives us doesn't really work. I do have to notice there's a lot of cameos in this as well from some of the classic ones. You get your classic little droopy cameo that I won't spoil where it is, but I love the reference that he entails within that scene. Good old Spike shows up and gives us some classic Tom and Spike shenanigans, and it goes exactly as you'd expect when it comes to a Tom and Jerry film, but I won't spell it out because you're already thinking it. In case you're not, I'm not even going to say. Before I get into my grade, if you do like what I do on this channel, click that like button and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this coming all the time. And remember to click that bell notification so you never miss any new releases from myself. So Tom and Jerry, overall, strong first half, gives us the slapstick that we want, but there are some very lackluster human characters. And whilst the actors are clearly having a lot of fun with this movie, it doesn't really work. And one thing I forgot to mention, the main bulk of this review is the auto-tuney nature of some songs that are being sung that kind of take a crap on a few old jokes from the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. If you want Tom and Jerry slapstick, you get it and it gives you what you want. It just doesn't do anything more with it and gives some very lowbrow jokes that some adults may cringe a little bit at. But overall for me, Tom and Jerry 2021 is an okay cup of tea. So Tom and Jerry, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Again, you like what I do on the channel, consider clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel. Let me know what your favourite Tom and Jerry moment is of all time. But until next time, everybody, my name is Josh, I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you next video.